Many people talk about timelines and timeline shifting and things like that. And Christians use terminology a lot of the time about dispensation or ages, because that's how the Bible speaks about it. There's latter days, there's the end of the age, there's the beginning of the age, and dispensational times in history. So when God's people were given into captivity, and you have to understand God's people is symbolic for all those who are chosen by God. At this time, it was the Israelites. Now, through Jesus and other things, God reaches in, and we are the ones that are chosen in their mother's womb and called out and separated to be His child, His host, His servant, basically. That's who it's referring to. But the kingdom was shown to Nebuchadnezzar and the prophet Daniel. He was also a seer, a spirit realm traveler. He had abundant gifts. Interpreted that the king had seen all of the ages that would exist until the culmination of the fallen angels' dispensation, when Jesus would redeem us. They refer to it, he gave it to him in a vision, in the dream, as a statue. He describes the statue as a head being a certain type of a kingdom. Describes all the kingdoms, and the very bottom one is iron mixed with clay. It says the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver. So there was a bronze age, silver age, gold age. And then the last age is going to be iron mixed with clay, which we now know is technology being integrated into human DNA. He sees all of it be crushed together like chaff from the summer threshing floor, and the wind carries it away. So he saw it from the beginning. He described it all the way to the very end, when this statue, this counterfeit kingdom, which was designed by the Watchers, the Nephilim, the antichrist, using AI, technology, witchcraft, demons, hybrids, clones, this kingdom gets crushed. And how it gets crushed is a stone comes from a great mountain and strikes the statue. And this stone became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. And this is in Daniel chapter 2. I'm using the Amplified because Amplified a lot of times will go to the original language and give you the root word in parentheses. We have not been delivered out of Babylonian captivity, using Babylon as a metaphor, in my opinion. According to Isaiah 11 and 12, this diaspora where Israel was made into a nation was not done the way it was prophesied. It was done by the Watchers. The Watchers influence consciousness, again, using AI, technology, human beings, and all the resources they have. And we know that Daniel, and we're going to interpret in just the next video, but he saw this whole thing. He saw how it took ages to fulfill this statue, which is the image of the false kingdom, the Antichrist. And it was done with God's permission. Why? Because the people that he had called, personally visited, saved, and all of that, they were doing witchcraft. They were doing, they were using and cohabitating and worshiping the Watchers again, the fallen angels, the little gods, and their descendants. You may say, what descendants? Go to Genesis chapter 2, read the whole thing. You'll see where, after Adam and Eve and all that transpired, he told all three of them, Satan, Adam, and Eve, her seed and your seed, she's going to bruise and destroy your head, and you're going to bruise her heel, okay? So there's two lines here. We are in the latter days, in my opinion. Nobody can prove this 1,000,000%, but why else would God be showing me all of this for 20 years or more? Okay, so I'm going to do video 2 for the interpretation. So here's part 2, and We are going to look at the interpretation of the dream, and this is Daniel. Now, this is where God had given the kingdom to Babylon. Babylon he is going to use as a metaphor all the way until the end of the age. That's why in the last book, Revelation, it has a lot about Babylon, okay? And when I say God, I am talking about the Most High, the light, all of that. I know some people call him Source and different things, but when I refer to him to others, I call him God. And when I speak to him myself, I call him Father. And he is so much more than light. Many people are now getting to see him, and they think that he's just a source of light and energy, that he's just powerful energy, which he is. But they have not got all the way in yet, because he's more than that, so much more. So anyway, side note. So he tells him, I've given you the kingdom and the power and the strength and the glory. That's why you're the head of gold. Next kingdom arises. That's the Bronze Age. Then he talks about the fourth kingdom, which this is the timeline we are in. Okay? In my research, 30-year spirit realm seer career, this is my opinion. Okay. The fourth kingdom, which they've interpreted as being Rome, which is basically Babylon, is in power. It will be strong as iron. Iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things, and like iron which crushes things in pieces, it will break and crush all these. Now that sounds very familiar with what humanity is going through right now with its leaders. As you saw, the feet and toes partly powdered clay, and the other will, can't really see that, hold on. Okay, so it has some durability and strength of iron, just as you saw the iron mixed with clay, as the 10 toes of the feet, which I have to do complete another series on that, were partly of iron, partly of clay, which again is symbolic for AI, technology, nanobots, chips, blah, blah, blah. And the clay, he's used clay as symbolism all throughout Scripture as meaning human. So he says, so some of the kingdom will be strong and another part of it will be brittle. And as you saw the iron mixed with clay, they will combine with one another in the seed of men. There you go. DNA splicing, hybrids, recreating Nephilim through technology, AI technology. But they will not merge, for such things will not unite, because iron does not mix with clay. This is the most important point here of this. Iron will never mix with clay. People that are augmenting, and they have been for a while, and now it's kind of open, that are augmenting with AI and technology, it's a dead-end road for them. And I heard someone say it just like that the other day, and I couldn't agree more. There's nothing positive going to come from it. Believers, spirit realm travelers, we have known for a long time that this was coming. So we've had time to assess it and see where it ends, and it's not good, okay? God, this is, in my opinion, falls along with the end-time prophecies about the sanctuary and the temple being defiled, okay? So that is why it is crushed by a stone, which I think we all know who the stone is. It crushes this antichrist kingdom, this Babylonian kingdom, which ends captivity of the human beings that love and know God and his power, his light, all of that. It gets restored back to how it was meant to be when this place was designed and made. So that's the real timeline. Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions. And I am going to do more. We'll do the 10 toes soon. Bye. So God is still having me look into the timeline. And we know that in 1948, Israel became a state again after 2,000 years, or a nation, through the Balfour Declaration. Now let's see if that lines out with Scripture. The reason this is important is because every single Christian has been indoctrinated to believe that when Israel became a nation, it would be that generation that saw Christ. It would be the end, right? So we know the Antichrist is going to be the one ruling until Israel and the chosen people are redeemed. Just want to show you a quick map here of Israel as it sits today. So I am in Isaiah, and it says here that the Lord will have compassion on Jacob, will again choose Israel, and will settle them in their own land. It says the house of Israel will possess them as an inheritance in the land of the Lord, and they will take captive of those captives who they have been in captivity to. Now, when does this happen? It says the throne will be established in loving kindness, and one will sit on it in faithfulness in the tent of David, judging and seeking justice. It says that Israel will make all the stones of the pagan altars crushed like chalk. They won't worship Asherim with incense, things like that. The Baals, all the false gods will be crushed. He's talking about how God will thresh out his grain, which is his chosen people, out of the brook of Egypt. Now, I want to say this. Many times, God would speak to me when I was writing my book and doing work there about Babylon years ago, and that we would be taken, that we are Babylon. We are in captivity still. We have not been released. That has not ended yet. It's a metaphor. He began to show me there was two kingdoms ruling our society, our generations, and it was Egypt and Babylon in their metaphors. And I wrote about this and published it on my website, which is expired right now, but I have copies. So when the Lord ransoms his chosen people, they will be coming in, happiness, everlasting joy will be upon their heads. They will find joy, gladness, and all of their sighing will flee. It says that he will call his people, assemble the outcast of Israel, will gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The jealousy of Ephraim will depart. They will not harass Judah. He said there will be a highway made up for the remnant of his people who will be left, just as there was for Israel. So there's a safe passage for this gathering. Who establishes the throne? It says the throne will be established in loving kindness. The one sit on it is faithful. And it comes from the line of David, judging and seeking justice. So the one who sits on it is faithful, and it's from the line of David, a root out of Jesse. It says that all through Isaiah. It's talking about Jesus. This rule will cause peace on earth. There will be a reign of peace that comes out of Israel. The remnant of people will be brought in. They were hidden, dispersed. Many of them don't even know who they are anymore. America took a lot of them in. Canada, the real Jews were dispersed. So we'll know that this prophecy has been fulfilled when they come from the four corners of the earth. So now we can look at our timeline, and we have to ask ourselves, did the Jewish people that are in Israel today come from the four corners of the earth? Were they the hidden remnant that God dispersed and hid so that they could survive? Is that what we're seeing over there? Does the Bible speak about a counterfeit Israel? We know in Revelation, the church of Smyrna, he says, knows the works, tribulation, poverty, and the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. It is my stance that Israel has not been called back by God, the true Israel, because it doesn't line out with what he says, and that we are being fooled into believing that that state over there is of God, of the Messiah. It is not. It is the synagogue of Satan. It's a counterfeit. It's a false timeline, a false reality that's been created for us our entire lives. I'm 58, so it's been my entire life. I have been taught to venerate, back up, and support this nation of Israel because it was God bringing them back to their chosen land. Then we know that it was done through the Rothschilds, who are not actually Jewish. They are pretending to be Jewish. We also know that they are the top of the pyramid when it comes to the elites that rule the bloodlines, satanic families. We know they are at the very top. We also know there's been no peace over there. There's been genocide, murder. It's basically a military state. It is a state that is involved in transporting humans, lots of things that if it was being ruled by Jesus or the Most High, those things would not be happening. Again, God told me that his people are so well hidden that they don't even know who they are. So when he calls this Gentile Jew end time scenario, we're grafted in. When we get called back to the promised land, it's not going to look like what they say it looks like, what we have seen in our reality. It's not going to look like that. When Jesus comes, he's going to rule with righteousness and justice and peace. And those that don't line up will be destroyed. They will instantly be destroyed. They cannot function under the energy, the spirit, the truth, the light. They can't function under that. They will die out. I'm going to talk more about our false reality that was created by the antichrist beast system and kind of try to lay this out. I don't know if anyone's talking about this. I don't think so. But I'm going to go ahead and get it put in video so when it's relevant, people can look at it.